and she had an accident and suffered a open fracture of the upper third, middle third junction, which was treated conservatively, and she developed a deformity therefore. She had occasional knee pain because of the virus, but she was more worried about the cosmetic aspect of it. And on measurements, the amount of shortening we got was 4 centimeters. In the initial planning, which Mangal sir was discussing, the femur was not taken into account. As we go further, I'll show it to you. So, if you notice, she's walking with a adductor thrust. So the knee is always going lateral with each step, and that, if left untreated, is going to lead to medial compartment osteoarthritis and future knee pain. So X-rays you have already seen. There was a slight recurvatum as well in the sagittal view. So we use TraumaCAD software for our plannings, and this is a little bit similar to what we had got. But if you notice on the chart here, the femur also has about 13 millimeters of shortening. Therefore, as we were discussing earlier, a surgical tactic using internal fixation would still leave her with the limb. Just correcting the deformity, the numbers change from tibial length of 307 to 313. So about 6 millimeters, 7 millimeters of difference. So just open wedge correction will not give her enough length. So therefore, a fixator makes more sense, where we can do a gradual correction of the deformity as well as lengthening. So if you add length, the numbers now are equal. The chart on the right side shows you with the length achieved, and the chart on the left shows you without any length correction. So oblique fibular osteotomy, application of the Elizarov fixator. We did a percutaneous tibial osteotomy. We used a Sixaxis system to do the gradual correction, because while planning, we were planning an osteotomy which would be a slightly higher level. We wanted to avoid the malunion area for the issue of healing, especially with the lengthening. So if any residual translation remains to be corrected, that Sixaxis device is easier to do the fine tuning for the correction. So these are the CM pictures and post-op X-rays. Yeah, so that's where the osteotomy has been done. If we go back to our planning, the osteotomy was planned a little higher, but because of this shank screw and adequate, so that we could get adequate fixation in the proximal fragment, the osteotomy could not be done here. So the osteotomy was done a little lower. Therefore, that question of always needing to do the fine tuning made sense, because if we had gone ahead and planned a simple hinge and done the osteotomy at the earlier level, at this level, and not taken into account the translation, then we would have done a under correction. So that's the ortho SUV planning screen. So the red marking is the future fragment where it is going to lie, and the amount of correction was around 18 degrees. But in between, she had one of the bolts of the ortho SUV which had broken up, so we had to replace that in the OPD. and the translation which was being expected was not happening. So we had to redo a planning program, but it is all done in the OPD, no surgery is required. So just change of a program and finally a corrected position. But slight valgus overcorrection had occurred. So again a fresh program was made and the axes were aligned well. And that's how much the lengthening has been achieved. Then the rods are changed to straight rods. Patient continues to wet bear. There is no thrust now. This is the video she sent from home. And that's how the healing is been progressing at 4 months, 6 months, and ready for fixator removal. Once it's healed, now if you notice all the axis is perfectly aligned, it has gone as per to the plan which we had discussed. So take home message is the proper preoperative planning and tactic gives you this idea of yes, this is what I am going to expect and how I am going to tackle. This is the hurdle which can come in between and I should be prepared to handle that as well.
So now if this patient came to one of you all who is not doing Elizarov,